So I'm currently on the train to LongYan in Fujian province. There's a really special reason why I'm going here. I'm going to meet a guy who's put together a group of people, both foreigners and Chinese, who are building one of the country's largest whiskey distilleries. I'm going to have a chat with him. I'm going to see how their building's going, and I think it's going to be really interesting.
I'm Graham Bannerman. I'm Scottish. I come from Dundee in Scotland, and I've been in China for 24 years.
Hi, my name is Alex Xie. I'm from Taipei, Taiwan, and I live in Dongguan in Guangdong province.
Hi, my name's Simon, and I'm originally from London in the UK, currently living in Wuhan.
我叫 Jane， 也可以叫我蚊子，但是我不咬人。我来自川西南的一个小城，叫做会理，然后我现在是住在深圳，也是在深圳工作。
Hi, I'm Vinay Diaram. I'm from Hong Kong.
So I'm Jean-Pierre Dupria. I'm originally from Port Elizabeth, South Africa. Currently, I'm situated in Chengdu, Sichuan province.
我叫王坤坤，我来自深圳，我住在深圳，我老家是四川人。
Hi, I'm Mick. I'm originally from Belgium. I arrived in China here in 2008 and eventually landed up in Xiamen.
My name is Mindy. I come from Hong Kong and I work in Xiamen for 20-something years already.
My name is Chen Liang. So I'm from Jiangsu province, Suzhou city.
My name is Jan Brony. I'm originally from Denmark. I won't mention any cities because nobody knows cities in Denmark anyway. I live in Xiamen, 2 hours from where we are right now on the site. I've been living in Xiamen for 15 years.
Yeah, so this is the one where we excavated 8,600 cubic meters, just to dig the hole. Because underneath it is 1.8 million litres of water storage in the sub-basement. Then the basement, we got all the plant room and plant equipment and pump rooms. And then we're gonna go up here. Who's feeling brave?
Is that for the fire suppression?
Exactly. We got to put out 542 litres a second for 30 minutes and then 3 hours of firefighting. Yeah, sorry mate. You want to go that way? Right. Sorry. We're going to go that way? To look through here at 18 fermenters, each one 30 tonnes, and one great big mash tun right at the end. So there'll be basically 4, massive mash tun at the back, and it should look beautiful. You can see it goes all the way around here and all the way around there, so it gives a really nice visitor experience. At least that's the plan. What do you think?
Sounds pretty good to me.
Yeah, I think with a few whiskey taps, some comfy armchairs, and just sit there and look in and watch. It'll be baller. Yeah. And we'll have a similar setup on all of the buildings. So that building there will have the same mezzanine viewing area. The still house will have one as well. But with the still house, the ceilings will be much higher. And the same with the cask warehouse.
Very cool.
So that's essentially it. And if anyone wants to see where the tunnel is going to be, tunnel this way. So all of this is going to be the still house, which is the building on the right if you look at the model from the front.
Yeah.
So all of that. And then here's going to be the first tunnel that will run all the pipe work from this to the still house. And there'll be another tunnel that comes from building number 2 that comes all the way around the back, joins onto that and feeds the still house as well. So from basically where that piece ends, that level, to the back, that's a 2 megawatt generator will go in there. But yeah, it's not small because it's got to power all the pumps in case of a power failure. The house and the cask maturation warehouse are 14 metres high because it's 13 metres internal ceiling. but then these two in the middle, 24 meters, which is the maximum height you can have in this area.
What's on the upper floors?
I'm not telling you. It's a secret. The immediate floor above is malting for malting grains, and then the 2 floors above that, storage of dry goods. So storage of glass bottles and packaging and boxes. Yeah, because we need to build another 16 of those cask maturation warehouses.
16?
Another 16. Because that warehouse up there will only take 6,000 casks. We're going to fill 50,000 a year. If you speak to the LongYan government, they refer to this as Whiskey Village because it will be 20 buildings eventually. So you do realise that Jan is famous for 2 reasons. Number 1, because we named the crane after him.
Because he's small?
Yeah, exactly. And he's also on the board. Yeah, one of the board directors. Yeah, so there you go.
Right, so I'm here in LongYan in Fujian province, and I'm with a guy that contacted me very recently. The guy's name's Jay. Turns out he's actually from very close to where I grew up, but his proposal that he told me about what he's doing just blew my mind. So I've actually had to come here and make a video about this. And so tell the guys what it is you're doing here.
Well, where do I start? I'm building China's biggest single malt whiskey distillery. I say I'm building. We're building.
You're driving it all there, right?
Yeah, I guess you could kind of call me the project manager, for want of a better word.
What made you embark on this project in the first place?
You know, I'm sure you can imagine lots of people around late at night on a Friday evening drinking whiskey.
For sure.
A few tipples. What's the subject that always comes up every single time? Wouldn't it be amazing if we made our own whiskey? What would we do differently if we had our own distillery? How could we make a whiskey like that if we did it ourselves? And eventually that subject came up so much and just so many times. A few of us just said, well, you know, why don't we just take this seriously? Why don't we look into it? So after kind of working out that we thought we could do it, we then basically set up a company. We all chipped in a bit of money each. We ended up with a couple of million RMB. We then went around and started speaking to all the provincial governments around China to say, look, we want to do this.
Yeah.
And, you know, we were initially hit with a lot of resistance.
Of course. I mean,
you know, it's like, who are these bunch of jack the lads that think they know everything, but they're actually a startup and they want land and they think they can do whiskey and blah, blah, blah. So yeah, it took a lot of time, and it also took a lot of support from, ironically, coming from a British guy, AmCham South China.
Okay.
So AmCham, being American Chamber of Commerce, is run by a gentleman called Dr. Harley Sayedi. Dr. Harley's been here, 3 decades and more, has some fantastic successes in this country, has some fantastic relationships, and after spending time with Dr. Harley to explain to him what we want to do and how we want to do it, and this is more than just, wet finger in the air and drunk guys in a pub with high aspirations. We've put all this R&D into it, and this is how we're going to approach it. With his endorsement and with his introductions, we were able to secure a piece of land and start doing what we're doing now, just out the window.
Yeah. Well, you took me around this morning. I'm obviously really gobsmacked by what you're doing, because it's not just a distillery is building, it's a massive distillery. Yeah. It's actually bigger than some of the major drinks brands, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I mean, if you compare it to the projects in China, so the Pernod Ricard, obviously Pernod, one of the biggest alcohol companies in the world, they've gone live with a 1 million LPA facility in Sichuan. So LPA being litres of pure alcohol.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, if you're flipping that into bottles of normal alcohol, 1 LPA, if you're looking at kind of 40% ABV, it's 2.5 litres of that.
Okay.
So that's kind of how it works. But the way to keep a consistent measurement across the entire industry is LPA, because some people might be bottling at this strength and casking at this strength and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, so it's changing around.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they're 1 million LPA. Diageo, who are currently building in Yunnan province, they're rumoured to be doing about 2 million LPA. I mean, these are huge facilities, don't get me wrong. What we're building is 7.5 million LPA.
Wow. I mean, I was gobsmacked. When you first told me that you're doing a distillery, I thought it'd be a couple of small rooms with a couple of stills in there and that. And like, I'm looking out there and I'm thinking, wow, this is like a major project. And what strikes me as unbelievable is that it would be hard to pull a project like that off. We're both from the UK. In the
Yeah.
UK,
Yeah.
speaking language, I know you're a bit similar to me. You don't speak a huge amount of Chinese.
Yeah.
And, you know, we've grown up in different countries. We don't know all the rules and regulations and stuff like that. For you to pull off a project of this size here, I just think it's staggering, you know.
Sure.
I mean, I really think that I got a lot of respect for what you've done, because I know I've had experience in China where I've done sort of small-time manufacturing, and I know all the problems I've hit doing that. So to undertake a project like this, man, you must have balls of steel, man.
Well, it's a mixture of a few things. I mean, firstly, and kind of primarily, it's because there is an absolutely fantastic team behind it. The whole vision of this project was really, really simple. How can we do something so big on so little money? And that is because the investors are not just investors. Everybody contributes something.
And
really,
you've got people from many different nationalities.
Oh yeah.
As well as locals, haven't you?
Yes. It's just 25 different countries, including China. But in terms of which nationality is the most people from, obviously Chinese.
Yeah.
You know, we are in every way a Chinese company, and I'm proud to be so.
Yeah, that's great.
But then also I think it's about picking the right people to work with.
For sure.
Because obviously we don't have all the shareholders coming down here with shovels and spades and building trowels, but having a really, really good construction company, having an absolutely phenomenal architecture firm, you know, having all these key players, and you know, we've got a really, really good drilling company, which sounds bizarre, but because of where we are, you need to kind of drill down 40 metres deep to do all these kind of geological analysis, etc. And you know, drilling company are fantastic. The company that do the blueprints, which are just over there, it's a company called Shanghai Classic, absolutely fantastic. But I think we're blessed and lucky, because I've heard so many horror stories, not just in China, but in many countries. You know, you got the wrong project manager or the wrong construction firm or the wrong materials. We've landed on our feet with that.
Yeah.
You know,
and you're here full time, aren't you, overseeing it all, which is a massive bonus.
100%. You could not be involved.
Because I guess you walk around every day and you look and make sure things are going how they should be.
Yeah, I'm on site at least 3 times a day. I mean, as you know, the site is 150 metres in that direction. And I've been here on and off for a couple of years, but I moved out here full time a year ago, February gone.
And when do you hope to have the buildings finished?
So the timeline as it is now, I mean, you've just seen it, obviously we're still pouring concrete and stuff. We'll have all of the concrete frames for 3 of the buildings completed by July. So we've got a big event in July, which obviously you're invited to.
I'm definitely, I want to track the progress of this, because I find it super interesting, you know, it's really good.
And then we'll have all of the physical construction done on those 3 buildings by the end of December. Then it'll be equipment installations and test runs and pilots and things like that. And we're hoping the first spirit ready for barrels will be before the end of March next year.
Wow. And how many investors are there in total?
At the moment, there's 227.
At all various different levels.
Yeah, various different levels. So the current round of investment that we're running, the minimum investment is 26,070 RMB.
Okay.
Which sounds like a ridiculously odd number, but equates to the equivalent of 1,500 shares, a nice round number. Don't ask me what that is in sterling or dollars or euros.
Right.
I've just been here too long. I just think of everything in RMB.
You're on the whole project. What do you think it will cost till you get to the point of built?
Well, it depends at which point you're talking about. So if you're talking about getting us to production with the 3 buildings that we're building, it's about 100 million RMB.
Okay.
To then add in the 4th building and get up to the complete capacity of 7.5 million LPA, it's about another 40 million.
Okay.
But that still only completes the first 4 buildings. So if you remember earlier on, I was explaining to you all the land to the west, that's already earmarked.
You want more warehousing, right?
Yeah, exactly. Cask maturation warehouses. So we're going live with 1 cask maturation warehouse. We'll need another 16, because the amount of casks that we're going to be filling each year, it's about 50,000 casks a year.
Okay.
And that's why also to the side of it, that other piece of land that I showed you, which is where we're building the cooperage. So the cooperage will have a capacity of about 100,000 barrels a year. 50,000 we will use for 9 Rivers, and the other 50,000 we will sell into the local industry, whether that's other whiskey projects or some of the vineyards, because obviously China's exploding with wine right now.
For
it'd be
sure,
really cool. And then obviously to lead our cooperage, again, bringing in the very best people that you possibly can make sense. So we've got a gentleman called Stuart McPherson, who spent 43 years at Macallan and was Macallan's Master of Wood.
Okay, so he knows his stuff.
I think it's fair to say he knows what he's doing. Yeah, I mean, an absolute genius of a guy. But he's also really, really down to earth and really interesting and really cool to work with. We've done a couple of videos about him ourselves on our own YouTube channel. Which
just a matter of interest. Jay puts very, very regular updates on your YouTube channel. So if you are interested in following the story, go over to his channel and have a look, subscribe. It'd be lovely to get him up to like 1,000 subscribers or more. So go and subscribe, and you can keep an eye on the progress. I know you upload quite a lot of videos, don't you, of like the building and that. And obviously as time goes on, it will get even more and more interesting as equipment's installed and all that kind of thing. So go and check the channel out, and I'll leave a link in the description.
When you've got the word China in a video, if it's not some shocking, horrifying scandal, nobody really wants to click on it. It's like the West only want to see that China is some big, monstrous, evil, domineering, dictatorial state. And if you've got a story that says, well, no, actually, there's loads of foreigners that live here, we love it, we've got a fantastic life. And guess what? We're building a massive distillery over there.
It just shows you how, foreigners can be very successful in China. You're testament to that. I mean, honest to God, I'm like mind blown at the size of this project. I really am. I'm not just saying that for the video. I really am. Because I know how difficult projects are. This is a project on a big scale, man.
It is. I mean, if you take a look at the average startup distillery in the UK in the past 10 years, I don't think any of them have really got beyond about 300,000 LPA. And, we're starting with 7.5 million. But where I think it gets really interesting is if we pick that up and, we got some kind of magical machine and we teleported it to Scotland, and Scotland now is about 147, 148 distilleries, we'd probably be number 5.
So how big you are.
That's where it starts to get really interesting. And even on a global scale, it would still be top 14, top 15, something like that.
I've really enjoyed, the couple of days I've been here, speaking to the people, seeing how passionate they are, I'm just really impressed, really impressed.
Yeah, it's a great bunch of people, but I think this is where we see whiskey as being much more interesting than just, a business and we can make loads of money, It's something that we found brings people together. You got people from literally every corner of the world that have completely different backgrounds and different skills, different expertise, different experience, but they can all actually connect.
They're all bringing something to the party.
Well, they can connect over the subject of whiskey. It becomes something that unifies. If you take a look at the history of all these whiskey nights, you've got all these people from all over the world all coming together to the same place, and it doesn't matter, what race you are and what religion you are and what colour you are and what your politics are. People just want to talk about whiskey. For people to take a leap of faith and throw their money into a project led by somebody that they've never met. Absolutely never met.
You've obviously instilled a lot of trust in people then.
I guess it is, but I think it's more about the transparency. It's not so much about me being, whoa, James, this amazing guy. It's just because everything has always been so transparent from the start. So it's like everybody that poured in their money initially, instantaneously, they've all got shares in the company. So, they've got real pieces of paper that actually have a real value, and they can go and look up on Hong Kong Company Registry and they're on the shareholders list. And then that becomes the foundation to the next level when you bring in more people with more money.
Thank you very much for asking me here. It's been a pleasure and an experience. I've learned a lot, and I'm really looking forward to coming back and seeing it develop from where you are now to when you're producing spirits. I think
sure, I mean, I'm really keen for you to come back. I mean, as I said, we've got another big event in July, which is when we start cementing the bricks into our plenum wall. So those are the bricks with the steel wraparound plates with people's naming.
Nice.
Obviously, most of the investors, or I think all of the investors, have got their own bricks or multiple bricks that they've bought. But there's also lots of other people that are not invested in the project but still like what we're doing and want to try and
fantastic.
support, so they've got bricks as well. So
That's
definitely
really
come back in
nice.
July. I
Yeah,
think
for
July will
sure.
probably have about 100 people here.
Amazing.
And then the next big one will be probably either the end of December or the start of January. Just depending upon how holidays fall.
Yeah.
And come back obviously for that.
Yeah,
And then we'll have
lovely.
another one about 3 months later when we start filling casks.
Yeah, that'd
and
be amazing.
you're more than welcome to come to all of them.
Yeah, I think it'll be really, really good to show the whole process. I think it's great.
Yeah.
Thank you very
Fantastic.
much.
Cheers, mate.
You're
Appreciate
welcome.
it.